Welcome to another off-season Sydney Kings update. Today we're bringing you back to Athens, where a slightly tired Jason Cadee is standing by. Jason, good morning. How are you going over there in Athens?
Good morning, mate. All is good. Just hanging out at the Newley residence, actually, and yeah, enjoying a bit of an off-season.
So tell us what's happened in the last week and a half or so since the season ended.
I was lucky enough to be able to go overseas, and a few of my mates came over to watch the last game, and so my girlfriend and them decided to go over to Santorini and Mykonos and visit the islands and go on, I guess, a little adventure, which is really cool to be able to see that and experience the Greek culture and a Greek Easter too, which is very different to Australian.
So let's go back to the basketball side of things. We saw some great highlights coming out of Kimis over the last couple of months. Can you talk us through how you found basketball and how you kind of really adapted to the game and started putting up good numbers?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, our team achieved their goal of staying in the league, so that was what they wanted to do. They weren't set out to win anything; they were set out to stay in the league. So that was their version of winning a championship. And I learned a lot. As I said last time, being over here and having Yules here really helped me through the weeks and learning stuff. And I guess it changed for me over my time here, as I started out with just a nobody, and I think after my first 2 or 3 weeks, I started to probably get a bit of a reputation, and it became harder because teams were getting after me and doing different things. So look, a lot, and I think it's something that I'll be able to carry on now for a good amount of time, having to come over here and had this experience.
Brad mentioned that the refereeing was something that took a bit of getting used to the first few times he was over in Europe. Did you find that was also something you had to adapt to?
Yeah, massively. It's just differently how they control the game, how they don't really. There's no talking really in this. Sometimes they'll say little things, and it's pretty to the point, and that's it. It's no back and forth conversations, and it's differently ref sometimes depending on where you play, and sometimes you're on the unlucky side of being the away team where you don't get as many calls as maybe you would at home. And look, they're pretty professional and they're pretty straightforward. So you know how they're going to ref the game from the start, and that's how they go with it. And it took a bit of getting used to, but I slowly adjusted. And some games I was on the better side of it, and some games you're not, as it works out.
How was the language barrier with your coaches and fellow teammates? Was it something that you were able to adapt to pretty quickly, or was there some embarrassing moments?
A few here and there, but a lot of them actually understand English really, really well. Some of them don't talk it as great. Like our coach understood a lot of what I was saying. He just couldn't sometimes get across what he was trying to say. But our assistant did a lot of the translating, so it was definitely weird. As I said, I think the first time you're a coach talking, but you watch your assistant listening to what he's going to translate. And a lot of the boys in my team, there was 5 other imports, some being obviously from Serbia and Sweden and stuff like that. They count, and they all spoke good English. So I didn't really have too much of a problem. Obviously, now and then there was a little bit where I would speak too quick, and as our Australians do, we cut stuff short, so people didn't understand me. But overall, it was pretty good, and the basketball language is the same wherever you go, so that makes life easier.
So last time we spoke, you didn't really have much of a Greek alphabet or vocabulary. Have you picked up a few words? Can you give us any of the words and the translations of what they mean?
I have picked up a few of the little ones, just the greetings and stuff like that. Kalimera is good morning. Kalispera is good afternoon. Yasis is hello. Efaristo is thank you. After that, you're reaching. That's about my go-to. There's a few here and there. There's a few bad ones that the boys told me, which I won't repeat.
I was going to say, I'm sure you've got another half a dozen up your sleeve on the swear word department. But how about your name? It was hard to find out what your stats were because your name on the box score is very different. Can you pronounce your name in Greek?
They just say Cadee, so I honestly don't know. But all my mates now call me Canty because that's how it was spelled on my singlet. So I don't really know where it comes from because they all pronounced it as Cadee. So I'm not really sure, but I know that now to my friend have the nickname Canty.
Yes, well, Jason was spelled rather interestingly in the Greek alphabet as well. Let's go through a few quick hitters. Your first time in Europe. Would you be interested in going back to Europe in general and Greece in particular?
Yeah, 100%. I've really enjoyed the experience of playing overseas, and it's just different. You're playing against different people each week. It's a different style of game, and I've just thoroughly enjoyed my time, not only in Greece but just playing in the European style of basketball. And yeah, look, definitely an option, something I'd like to do again, and we'll see what happens.
Now, Sydney Kings fans, most importantly, are going to be asking, what has your time in Greece meant for the upcoming NBL season? So, how do you think what you've been doing the last couple of months fares with your normal off-season routine?
Obviously a bit different. I mean, I've played in New Zealand and stuff before, but this is a different kettle of fish. Being able to come over here, play as an import, there's expectation on you to really perform. And in their system, it's not asked you to go outside and do your own thing. It's about being able to adapt to the way they play and do what the coach wants. And I think it's definitely been a good thing for me to be able to come over here and evolve my game in a different system and experience different styles of basketball and the way it's played. And I think going back home, that can only help me going forward and as I grow up and mature.
Since we last spoke, Luke Kendall's been officially announced as a new assistant, and Dean Vickerman's on his way. What do you think about Luke and what he'll bring to the group on a full-time basis this year?
Yeah, look, obviously it's a shame we lost Dino. Dino did a lot for us last year and someone who I personally got close with and really enjoyed being around. But look, Lukey was with us the whole last year and he was basically, in our eyes, an assistant coach. So him just stepping into Dino's role is not a big deal as he was there all along. And I think Lukey now will find that he has more of a voice and I think he'll step up and really impose himself on the group a bit more. And he started to do that towards the end of last season. And everyone respects Luke and understands that he's been around the game for a long time and was a very good NBL player. So I think, look, I'm excited to have Lukey working with us. And I'm sure most of the boys that were there last year feel the same way.
So let's go through a few quick hitters then to finish up. Have you got a favourite food that you've eaten in Greece that you have made a habit of eating over and over again?
Geez, any of the meats. Souvlaki's good. The Euroses here are really good. But yeah, I think just your traditional meats over here are very, very nice.
Anything you tried that you didn't try a second time?
Oh, off the top of my head. No, I tried this. I forget the name of it. There's this sauce over here. I forget the name of it. There's a sauce over here I tried, and I didn't go back for that anymore.
Not Tara Masala.
Nah, it's not that. I think it's tzatziki or something like that.
Okay. What about your favourite city outside of Athens that you have visited on this trip, whether it was playing or holidaying?
I have to go with holidaying on this one, Santorini and Mykonos. Although in saying that, I did get to visit where PAOK play in Thessalonica, and I think that's where they were playing, or was it Prometheus? One of the teams play there, and it was very nice. We stayed at a place right on the water. It was, yeah, quite a view and quite a place. But look, Santorini and Mykonos are somewhere. If someone's holidaying over here, I'd recommend you go to. They're unbelievable, and it's a lot of fun.
What about most intimidating crowd that you played in front of?
Most intimidating crowd. Well, I'm lucky that our last game against Olympiacos didn't really mean anything, so they didn't really get the crowd they normally would. And the Greek Cup semi-final was on next door, so there was a bit of a conflict of crowds there. But we played against a team called Prometheus on the road, and they were in that spot where they were fighting for the finals, and it was pretty full on. So I'd say they were definitely right into the game, and they were start of the game. They throw toilet paper and streamers on the court. When the game starts, they throw it on the court. It was pretty cool.
So on the last one, we'll finish with Todd Blanchfield and Dane Pinot have been added to the roster in the last couple of months to go along with yourself, Kevin Lesh, Tommy Garlett, and who am I forgetting? Brad Newley, of course, in the room with you there. What do you think ahead of the 2017-18 season, ahead of on-court aspirations and perhaps what else the roster might need ahead of the campaign?
No, look, they're great additions. I'm friends with Blanche, and I have been since we first ever roomed together at our Australian camp when we were 16, 17. And look, when I thought he was a chance of coming to Sydney, I made sure that I spoke to him straight away because I just knew he'd be a great addition. And I know me and Jules were over here talking about can help us get to the finals and really win a championship. And when his name came up, I think a lot of people try to say, oh, why would he come here? Brad's there, blah, blah, and there's the mix. Look, Niels is one of the first people too that wanted him here. He just thought he'd be a great addition and really help him and help us. And I think when you've got people trying to give up some of their minutes to help to bring in a guy like Blanche, I think it only adds to our team, and I think he'll be very good in Sydney, and I think he was a great person to add to our team and also player. So I'm so excited that he's there. And Dane, I played with Dane a few years ago now with an Australian team. We went to China, and he was a young kid then, and he was a good kid, and he was a bit raw, but you can see he's done some good things at St Mary's. So I think his development in Sydney will just continue, and I think he will be an addition. And I think as the season goes on, he'll be comfortable and really fit into our group, and he'll become a very good role player. So look, two good additions, and I think there'll be a few more to come, and I'm excited. So far, so good, and it's still a little bit away, but I'm really excited to get back into it with the Kings now. I'm done over here, and just excited for what could unfold this season and where our team's going.
I will add one last question. Andrew Gaze and Leonard Copeland have both told us on camera in the last couple of days that the biggest missing ingredient last season was a cultural element. Could you talk a little bit about culture and how you'd like the team culture to improve for this season?
Yeah, it was. And look, there was a few things that obviously that went on that weren't what I think, and I think a few of us that are still here it wasn't part of where we want the program to go. And I just think going forward that it's going to be not only on the ownership group to try and set the culture they want, or the coaches, it's going to be more on the players. So look, we have a few players hanging around, and I think it starts with us. We have to really set whoever's coming in, whoever's going out, whatever it is, that this is the way it works when you come to Sydney. And I think we learned a lot last year. Obviously, we were a new group, and you forget about that when all of us, just because a few people have been there, and we had Niels come back, we had Kev, MVP, come in. We had a lot of moving pieces, and Andrew's first, things like that. So I think we've had a year of experiment, so to say, and we've kept the pieces so far that we want to keep. And what coming in, I think it'll be a big thing for us to just have everyone in a high standard, and you have to be accountable for your actions. And if you don't fit into what the Kings basketball is and what the group is about, then that's too bad, I guess. And I think you see it with a lot of the footy teams that as soon as people start veering off road, then that's see you later. So I think for us going forward, we have to have a strong accountability and really be able to put the Kings in a program going forward where we all want to sit in. And if you don't abide by that, then too bad. So it's tough, but I think that's the way it's going to be. And I'm looking forward to, as a group, really stamping our authority on that and seeing where it goes.
That's a great note to finish on, Jace. Thanks very much for joining us. Have a safe trip home, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, mate. See you then.